Everybody, I'm Denise. This is Love Speaks Love, and this is the beautiful Isobel Stamford.
Hello, hi everyone. Good to
So
see you all.
I will just double check that this is live. So bear with us while we just do the technical stuff.
Yep. So my volume didn't it didn't mute.
Isobel Stamford. Right, I've muted you. While have you turned it down a bit? Hang on. Now you'll have to unmute yourself, I think, because
Okay.
there we go. There we go. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm just gonna. Oh, neither have I.
Well, we obviously want to do this. We want to be heard. Oh.
So we're just going to share this out. If anybody feels to share, if you might not know if you resonate with this yet, but it is helpful
Yeah, that would be
when
great.
it's shared. So I will share it to Astrology. There, there. Not that one.
I'm going to mute myself.
It would be nice if we could organise our groups so that you've got them in separate things. So it's just a lot. This process is a lot easier, but that's not how it is. I think there's one more to share it to. Yes, there it is. Okay. And I'm just going to share it to a couple of people in Messenger as well. Share it there, share it there. All right, thank you everyone who's joining us. Lovely to see you all. Oh, Christy's here.
Hello, Christy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to acknowledge Christy Roo here because and Martin McNichol, when Isobel was chatting with Martin, Christy sent me the video of that, thinking that there would be an alignment, which spot on, Christy, there is. Yeah, I definitely feel the sister in Isobel.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we spoke, that was it, just knew, we're to be connected.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Christy, and thank you for Martin
Yes.
for bringing you out of your comfort zone.
Now that was a big one.
All right, so okay, so before I normally quite quiet here, and we've had sawing outside, we've had motorbikes. Close my window. There might be a little bit of knocking here and there.
Well, just pretend it's a woodpecker.
We're having a bit of a heat wave here in the UK, by the way. We're not used to this. We don't do it very well. I've got my fan there. Window closed for the noise, but yeah, all is well. Okay. So I do like to start Love Speaks Love with us connecting our hearts and putting us, if we're elsewhere, into our heart space. So let us breathe in love. And breathing out love as well. So the love is going into every cell of our body, into our auras, and feeling our hearts expanding as we breathe in love. And connecting my heart to Isobel's and to all of you watching live, all of you watching on the replay or on YouTube. And connecting our hearts to the heart of Gaia, And in doing so, feeling Gaia's love for us, feeling her recognition of us, and her gratitude for all of us. Connecting our hearts now to the heart of the sun, to the heart of the moon, and to the heart of Source Creator. And visualizing a beautiful web of golden light, connecting all of our hearts and weaving its way all around the globe, going deep down to the heart of Gaia, and connecting our hearts to all of the plants, to all of the trees, to all of the creatures of the air, the waters, and the land. And giving thanks and acknowledgement to the guardians and the ancestors of the lands that we find ourselves upon. And connecting to all of the galactic beings, the angels, archangels, the elementals, and the beings of inner earth. So if your eyes are closed, just opening them when you're ready.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Really beautiful.
It's always so hard to open my eyes.
Could feel the nerves just floating away. And it was beautiful. That's at the point where we were connecting with the plants. Lily started singing, and it was really beautiful coming in, just really feeling that energy and essence. So that was just beautiful.
That was the reminder to me to mention the plants and the trees. I could hear us thinking. I was like, oh yeah. It's like she was waving at me, going, "What about us? What about us? What about us?" And just to say as well that this one,
Fantastic, beautiful, absolute joining in the concert. We'll have to share the story of as I was setting up today about the plants and you know, but I can wait and you know until we're ready to share that story.
So yeah, there's a lot of common ground I feel with Isobel and kind of the work that we do. Really, we might use different instruments, but we're kind of doing a lot of the same thing. A lot of work on the land. You know, connecting telepathically to many beings like you know the trees, the plants, the animals. So we may work in slightly different ways, but not really.
Yeah.
And I'll let you share about your journey as well, Isobel, and you know whatever you want to share on that in a second or two as well, and how you came to kind of be here doing this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will just mention that you do play the harp, which is such a beautiful instrument, and you also, how can I word this? So you have the technology with you that changes the signal that a plant is emitting into sound. And I wanted to mention that from the start because occasionally they may just hear Lily, the plant, coming in with her sound. That's the little like that you might just, well, it has been that note so far, but
Yeah.
that's the sound that
Yeah.
that has been coming in the background. And I'll maybe just start with this as well, that I heard about the music of the plants when I was still living in Australia. And I was working in a massage place, and a man came in who'd spent a lot of time at this place called Damanhur in Italy. And he gave my housemate, who was also working there, a CD of the music of the plants, and we played it when we got home. And as soon as I heard the first track, my heart was just so open and I just cried because I could recognize it and I could feel it and feel the truth of it as well. And in Byron Bay, there's a place called the Crystal Castle, and they have the same equipment, and they demonstrate the plants singing as well. And we'll tell funny stories about how if people are in the room, you might have a room full of people, and some might be sitting there with arms folded, like, that kind of expression in the faces, go, we don't believe any of this. And the plants can be quite sensitive to that and won't necessarily sing. And they tell the story of how there was one guy in particular really, not believing any of it, and he ended up storming out. And as soon as he'd gone and the door was closed, the plants started singing, but they didn't want to sing in front of him.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, well, if that's what you believe, then, who are we to prove it wrong, kind of thing. We'll just stay quiet. So that's been, so I was, even more intrigued to get you on here as well, so that we can share about this music of the plants and what goes on in the plant world that we have no idea about. So over to you. I don't know if you want to share a bit of your journey or whatever you feel.
Well, I think first of all, I'd like to just acknowledge the plants that are singing right now, and just share a little bit of the story about how I was setting up for today, because I tuned in and I was asking, what plant would like to come in to share this journey with us and to share their voice, and so I felt this lily and also an aloe vera plant, both of them were kind of resonating with me, and then I tuned in, and my heart said, okay, Lily would like to come up and play, so I brought Lily up the stairs, and I was setting up, and she did a couple of little notes, but then she went completely silent. I'm just calling them she because it's easier to call them she, from Gaia, and so she went completely silent, and I thought, oh, okay, so maybe it's not Lily then. Maybe it's the aloe vera plant wants to come up and sing. So I went downstairs, and I was preparing the aloe vera plant to bring it upstairs, and then she started singing. So I thought, okay, so I come back upstairs, and as soon as I got into the room without the aloe vera plant, she stopped. So then I thought, right, okay, I think both of them need to be in the room. So I went downstairs, brought up aloe vera. So aloe vera is just behind Lily at the lamp there. And as soon as they were brought in together, she started singing, and she hasn't stopped singing. And actually, this is a different lily plant from the one that I was on the call with Martin. This is a fire lily, and so she was choosing to come today. So I just needed to share that little story, because for me, it's like about tuning in to my heart, asking, getting the higher self guidance and the connection to the plants to know what's happening, what's to happen, and so today we've got Lily and aloe vera in the room to share their vibrations and their frequencies, and just, I think for me, like you, when you first heard that first sound of the music of the plants, you started crying, your heart just burst open. It's the same with me, because it was dear friends of mine that shared with me that they had visited Damanhur many, many times, and they shared with me this file of an orchid, and as soon as I heard this gorgeous orchid sing, literally my heart just burst open wide. And I knew then that was something that I needed to deeply connect more deeply with. And as it happened, the same friends. So I this technology from Damanhur. So it's the original box that came from Damanhur. I've had it for over 10 years. It's the prototype box that I have. I've not, because they have them now. They're available, but they're kind of more upgraded. But this is the prototype box. And I've just been over the years working quietly with nature, creating music, creating harp tracks and flower tracks, and just working quietly. But it seems that now is the time where the voice is needing to be heard, and I need to take this a bit further, and so we can all begin to appreciate that the plant kingdoms have consciousness, and that every time we interact, you know, we are co-creating, we are communicating with one another. And you know, a lot of the time we take it for granted, but there's actually a real beauty in the communication if we can just go below the surface. And so I think the technology, what that's allowing us to do is to go below that, into that hidden realm, and make it and reveal it. I know the technology has been around for a long time, but it's still not that well known, and so it's, you know, so we're still sharing the message. So yeah, and so the technology itself was gifted to me from these dear friends that had shared with me for the first orchid song that I ever heard. And I was doing some work, some recording work for them for their Archangel Transmissions CD, and in exchange I was given this technology, and that was, so it was a gift from the angels, both the earth angels and the angelic realms, for me just to share my connection to Gaia and to share my heart, because not only do we listen to the plants, but I play the harp as well, and the harp always sits across my heart. My hands are a vehicle for my heart's energy, and then I can express just the way that I communicate with nature, through the harp and through this being able to hear it. I mean, a lot of the time, you know, in the shamanic world, you know, they will sing the song of the plants for healing, and but this is a way for us to kind of tap into that essence and that energy. We've got technology there that's showing us and helping us to go beyond, you know, the unseen and into the seen. So yeah, so that's how I connected with the technology. My journey to get here, wow, it's so I feel as I've been on this path forever, you know. Well, I have actually, we all have, haven't we? But really, I think for me, I wanted to really, I think, to share today about my awakening. And I think I briefly mentioned this to you when we had a chat beforehand. For me, my awakening happened in the late 1990s, but it was actually at the point of my own Saturn return, and I went through a real not a mini crisis, a real personal crisis at that point. And through that crisis, I was then propelled onto this path, because I had no idea about any of it until so it was 1996, 97, during my Saturn return. And I met a teacher. The teacher just appeared, and I kind of started to open up to meditation, to work with all the other different realms that are there. And then in 1999, I was guided. I was told I need to go to Mexico, and I went to the Yucatan in Mexico. And here, you know, I was like, I hadn't really had a clue about any of this stuff. I really didn't know a lot. And so I was kind of going in with fresh eyes and fresh ears. But I'd met all these incredible teachers that were in the Yucatan. It was a prophets conference, and there were teachers there like Drunvalo Melchizedek. There was Zachariah Sitchin, who wrote the 12th Planet, and it talks about Nibiru and the Anunnaki. There was Edgar Mitchell, who had been on the moon, and there were other shamanic practitioners. And you know, it's like you know, it was like propelled onto a massive path that I had to open up to. But the point I'm trying to make on that was, I was quite shy, quite reserved, and I would always hold back. And I wanted to actually speak to Drunvalo, because I wanted to just connect with Drunvalo Melchizedek. And so I was standing, there was a queue of people, and I was standing in this queue just waiting to go and ask a question. And the next thing, when it was my turn, I kind of made a step towards them, and I was spun around. It was like I had my Merkaba, his Merkaba, I had activated. There was something activated, and I believe it was definitely my Merkaba, just in that stepping into that presence. I didn't need to go into any formal knowing about anything. That was just the first experience I had of being able to communicate without words, really feel energetically what was going on, and that was my first ever experience. And then as soon as that spinning had stopped within me, I was hit on the head on the crown, and it was a tree above had a leaf had fallen down, but it felt as though it was like a huge I don't know, something much heavier than a leaf had hit my crown. And then everybody around was saying, "Oh, you've been blessed, you've been blessed." And I'm thinking, what on earth has just happened here? So for me, though, that was the moment of my real stepping into this non-verbal communication, this connecting energetically, telepathically. And the interesting thing was I never got to speak to Drunvalo, but I think the day after that, I was sat at a table writing notes in my notepad, and he came up to me and said, "Can I borrow your pen?" So it was like words weren't really needed. And the whole purpose of that story is really about our communication with nature. You mentioned earlier about telepathy, because that's where we're all moving. That's the nature of what's happening. Yeah, so, and then in Mexico as well, for me, it truly connected me aligned me to the stars, to the star beings, to the star elders, and also to the Lemurian essence and energy as well. And actually, I would also like to speak about the Hathors, because before going to Mexico, I had gone through, I was working with this teacher, and she had actually brought through the Hathors, and we were working with the Hathors, and they were obviously fine tuning me to be able to go off on this journey. So my first connection with the Hathors, and I know you're deeply connected to them as well, was in 1990, 96, 7 or 97, I think it was, because it was after the mini crisis. So I just wanted to bring in that connection as well. I mean, when I'm working with energies, for me, I just open up to the family of light, whatever that family of light is, and I allow just the energy to flow through me. I don't particularly connect with individual energies, but just it's whatever energy is required comes through. So, wow. So I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I hear you on that, and I don't always ask. Like, I feel the energy, and I don't always, question or get an identity for that. It doesn't always feel necessary. Um, but the Hathors, I think it was Becky. Oh, and I've just gone blank on her surname. I think she maybe first mentioned them to me. And once I consciously connected with them, I realized that I've been connecting with them for a long time, but I just haven't, been conscious of the particular name or whatever. And the Hathors, looking at, was it you that recommended, was it Tim Gregory, John Gregory? Somebody, I might have that name completely wrong. No, Kenyon.
Yeah, Tom Kenyon. Yeah, it was me. Tom Kenyon.
Where I got Gregory from. His description of the Hathors, he mentions sacred geometry. So a lot of us that work with sacred geometry or with sound may well be connecting with the Hathors, even if we don't realize that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, because of the Egyptian deity, let's say Hathor, I wasn't sure what the connection between those two are. And I feel that Hathor, the Egyptian being, was of the Hathors. She was like an incarnated being from the Hathors, but that the Hathors aren't named after her, but that her name came after the group of beings called the Hathors.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And you also mentioned like a kind of cows connection as well.
Yeah. Me and the cows on my nature walk every day, just love them. They are amazing. And they're connected to Hathors.
Yeah, and I felt that. I think you'd said that as well, and I had already been connecting. There's 2 fields that I go to that contain bulls, cows, and when I was tuning in, it was actually before the call this week with Shelley, and I was kind of asking, what we could put to describe what the event was going to be. what energies we were going to be working with. And they said, it was quite interesting. They said that the cows were acting as amplifiers for their messages. And then we did a bit of an activation and lots of work around here, so that I could connect with them more easily, hear their words more clearly without the cows being present. And it was funny because they were kind of like, when I was connecting, the cows were, they were fairly all over the field, but there was a lot more in front of me than there had been before I started connecting with animals as well. And one just lay down in the field in front of me as well.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, I mean, the recent photo that I'd put on my Facebook page, I mean, that cow was at the other end of the field, and I just connected, and they came, the whole herd came, but he was right in the front and just coming straight up, and it was just an amazing connection. For me, it's just a confirmation, and also what it does, it brings such joy to my heart. See, when I connect with them, it is just like my heart just automatically expands, and I just feel such joy, and that is that frequency of the Hathors through that experience is just shifting and changing my own frequency, through the joy as well. So yeah. But with sound as well, with sound healing now, I think I was prepared by the Hathors to go on this Yucatan journey that I did in the late 1990s, and then I was my harp therapy training. So I don't know if you want me to share a little bit about how I connected with the harp, and it was actually at a conference in 2000, and there were two harpists on the stage. One was, she had the big golden angel harp and actually sung like an angel. I've described it like that before. And then the other was a Celtic bard, and she was doing the storytelling with her Celtic harp. And as soon as I connected with these two amazing, beautiful women, literally my heart just exploded, and the tears were running down my cheeks. I couldn't stop crying, because I knew that I needed to connect with that sacred instrument. And so, and I was touched by what I was hearing from these two beautiful beings as well. And so 6 weeks later, I actually hired a harp. So I was able to, because they're quite expensive, they're not the cheapest of instruments. So I hired a harp, and then I booked a harp lesson at St Andrews University, and that taught me the structure of the harp, how to use it, how to tune it, how to, just the basics. But I knew at that moment that I didn't actually want to do a formal training with the harp. I felt that it was connected to my heart, and I wanted to play, I wanted to improvise, I wanted just to explore it in my own time and space without the need to go into any formal learning. So this seems to be a pattern in my life about the formal learning. It's like, I don't need to go and do the Merkaba training. I've kind of, it's different. So I mean, there's obviously some formal training I've done, but a lot of the time, this sense of, I want to explore it, I want to feel it, I want to connect with it differently. And so that's what I did with the harp. I would sit outside, and I would listen to the birds sing. I would imitate just patterns and noises and notes that I was hearing from the birds, and I would just play with it, and I'd sit by the sea and be by the ocean and hear the ocean waves. So it would give me a sense of rhythm in my playing, and just so nature really taught me how to play the harp. And then I think it was a couple of months after that, I was really called to do one of the most sacred things that I've had to do in this lifetime, and that was to be at the bedside of my dying father. And I was playing the harp, and my voice came as well. So it was like I was just channeling this essence and frequency and energy to assist my dying father transition. And which then, I think it was 3 months after my dad had transitioned, that I was connected to the International Harp Therapy Program in America. And That was through a conversation I had with the people I was hiring the harp from, and I said, I explained about my experiences. Have you heard of this harp therapy program? And they work a lot in hospice with the harp to help transition, but there's many other avenues for harp therapy as well. So I got in touch with the director of the International Harp Therapy Programme, and I was offered a scholarship, and literally in the my father passed in December, and in the March I was in America, San Diego, training in harp therapy. So it's like it was just flowed from all those experiences with the sound, with the sacredness, and I knew I needed to do this. Now this training in harp therapy, what that is about, normally harpists have been classically trained and they go in there and they have to unlearn that classical training, because it's all about improvisation. It's all about connecting with the frequencies and the vibrations that you're feeling from another, and this is the unheard and the unseen vibrations, and we're just opening our hearts. The premise of harp therapy is to be open-hearted, to be open to what is willing to meet you, to come and meet you sound-wise, and then just improvise and play. And it's what I do with the plants as well. So it's not only, so the plant kingdom is actually demonstrating how we work energetically with each other as well. So I spent years training in the harp therapy and improvisation and using different modes to create different moods as well, just to help people. And for me, that ended with me actually taking the work out. I wanted to work with children. So I took it out to primary schools and worked with the whole school and for health and well-being, for relaxation, just taking this in and just sharing the importance, and also having the hands-on experience with the harp, because a lot of people don't get to touch this instrument. And for me, I just want everybody to feel that. I mean, quite a few people that when they first connected with the harp have actually burst out crying as soon as they've put it across their chest and have just started to strum it, because it touches your heart so deeply. It really is. It's got such an energy and quality about it that really touches your heart. So I was working in schools and with the harp, and that's where I took the harp therapy part. That's how I'm still working with the harp, but also working with stress as well, because it's such a great instrument for reducing stress. And of course, bringing in the nature vibrations, again, that's another thing to reduce our inner state of stress. And so that's where I am with the harp therapy. That's been my journey, and I'm still on it. And still exploring, still playing, still having that feeling, that essence of the child within me, still exploring and playing and allowing it just to be, without the need for me to try and control it. So there's nothing better than working with children to really connect with that essence of your child within you. Yeah, so okay, so that's, I can't think of what else to say now.
There's so much to that as well. And you sing with the harp as well?
I do. I mean, it's not, well, actually, one of the things that was coming across today was I was actually to do light language with the harp and use my voice. So, I mean, I shy away a lot of the time because I'm not the best of singers, but it's my heart that's wanting to sing, But it's really about the light language and just the vibration and the frequency. And I know that earlier when I was connecting and building up this resonant field here with me and the plants, just to prepare for coming on the call, my voice was coming into it. I needed just to allow those sounds and that light language to come out with the sound of the plant and the harp. So we may get that later, and I'm just listening to see if Lily's she's kind of gone offline for a minute.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because you had shared with me that you speak light language, but I also knew that you hadn't really been very public with it. And like language dropped in, and I was like, oh, I meant to ask you before we started, you know, do I mention light language? Do you know? I didn't want to make you feel put you in a position and make you feel awkward there. So thank you for bringing that up.
Well,
Um,
that was Lily that brought that up because she brought it out of me.
and you know, maybe that would be something that we could do together as well. That I
Yeah,
could do some light language with you
yeah,
as well. Like
sounds
Zoom isn't
fantastic.
always the best thing for doing things together. Um, it kind of, not that it distorts so much, but one person tends to be louder than the other. So it might be the, you know, you do it and then I do some, and then back to you. You know, that might work better. But we'll know. We'll know. Yeah, that would be a real honour. And especially, you know, especially with the harp too. Like you just, there is no more angelic sound, is there really, than a harp?
Absolutely, yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just synonymous with the angels, and you know, I'm deeply connected to the angels, and you know, up to nature, to Gaia, the angels, the star beings, you know, the whole family of light. But yeah, you know, the harp is definitely certainly an instrument that you think of angels when you hear it, and it's not that as well. It's the harmony of the harp, so that all of the strings are harmonious with each other, and then the overtones of that. So you're reaching so many different kind of spheres with those overtones and the fundamental notes. So yeah, yeah, it just is. It's just connected with the angels, and it's my connection as well to the angels, because I think it was definitely the harpist that had the golden harp and she sung like an angel. She was the one that made the tears really flow. So I was definitely touched by the angels by listening to this beautiful soul. Um, yeah, so yeah, that would be good. I'm just looking at the equipment. It'll come back because sometimes, you know, sometimes they'll stop singing, and you know, there's nothing we can do. But what we can do, if that's the case, we'll just go with the flow, and we'll just open our hearts, and we'll just let the plant kingdom choose what it wants to do.
And the way that it works as well, if people haven't heard of this before, so there's like a probe. It's like a lie detector probe, and it works in a similar way, I believe. And you know, correct me if I'm wrong in this. So it picks up the energy that's being emitted from the plant.
Yeah, it's the electrical. I say it's like it's the electrical impulses of the plant. So
Right.
that's like the life force, and those electrical impulses. So again, it's like with the lie detector test. It's then converted and into a sound. So it's into converted into a MIDI sound, and so each plant that I've played with has a definite distinction in their resonant tone. So the resonant tone is the bass tone, and I know for Lily that's been a musical note B has been the resonant tone. So whenever and that's how we open up in harp therapy practices, we attune to the resonant tone of a person as well. So then we start to improvise and play in that key, in that tone, and just let it unfold, because then that touches it really builds up this field of resonance between you. And so I know that for me, I've been, you know, singing in that tone, and the B tone is coming through. And so any harp music, I always need a place to start, because I need a place to start when I'm playing music, and so that place is the resonant tone that I'm hearing, and then that will be the place, and then the rest just flows as it's meant to flow, and it's complete improvisation. I don't play any written music. It's all just created in that moment for that moment. And I'll always continue to play that way, because I believe it's just an expression of my heart, and it's how I'd like to keep playing.
And with the harp as well, obviously you're excuse me, you're plucking certain strings. But am I right in thinking that the harmonies come from, you might pluck one string, but the others are playing as well?
Yeah, yeah, because in each string, the overtones are in each string, so you're actually, you know, it's like if you could tune into the overtones of each string, you're actually hearing that. And then if you play multiple strings, then you're getting multiple overtones. So it just creates that sound, but also an energetic frequency, because there are multiple overtones happening that perhaps we can't hear, but they are actually there, you know. And I think this is all the purpose of this is like it's making the unheard heard, or the unseen seen, you know. It's time to do that. Yeah.
And on that CD as well, plants would have plants playing together, or trees playing together as well,
Yeah.
because it's not just plants. You can do this with
Yeah.
trees. So one tree would make a sound and the other one would kind of like maybe answer, and then they
Yeah.
might kind of sing together
Well,
as
that's
well.
exactly what we're doing for me, human, and the plants. So we're actually communicating, we're co-creating, and we're kind of weaving in and out of this conversation. It's a non-verbal conversation that we're having, but it just happens to be in music, which is fabulous because it's a universal language, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you want to pick up the harp?
Yeah, I'll pick up the harp now. What we're going to do. Right, excuse me and my wires. It's all twisted. I need to give myself space. So here we are. So I've got I've got several harps. This is my small harp that was made for me in New Mexico, and it was actually created specifically for me, and it was blessed with sacred prayers. And in this part of the harp here, there's a crystal embedded in this part here. So we've got crystal energy happening there, and then we have this.
You know what
beautiful
kind of crystal?
I think it's probably amethyst. I think it's amethyst. He said. But don't quote me on that, because I can't be 100%. But I feel as though it's amethyst that he's put in there. So for me, when I'm kind of going to play the harp, I just kind of want to tune in, bring my energy into my heart, and just breathe into my heart. And often what will happen is, to get me into my heart, I will just allow light language to come through. And moving into the heart. Irastoya narastoya naro. Eya narasto.
Kiene arali no ona kayabo und aya. Kist ile arano kon el out un. Kemarar un ere und irton ara. Kiene yao. Elayano. Elearono huere inest uton. Kel en aro un era. Kel en kiest ara. Ulstel era un era. Canem mi aron ujat anea ust ea.
Ioristaya Ishtaya Ianarasto
Was Lily singing with you there at the end?
She was, but I forgot to turn up the volumes. And that's what I did at the end. But she was definitely, she was singing with me, and she also came in when you were doing your light language, and I forgot to turn up the volume. So hopefully we're going to actually, I've turned up the volume, so hopefully we're going to hear her properly. Oh dear, I can't believe I forgot to turn up the volume.
Well, I reckon we've got time to do more at the end as well. So.
Yeah. So we'll just, so it's up, and we'll hopefully be able to hear her properly. Oh dear.
So do you do sessions with people as well, like individual sessions?
Yeah, well, I do the harp therapy and I do the stress management that sessions. I'm actually working with a charity here in Scotland, and so I'm doing one-to-one sessions.
Where is it you live?
So I'm in Auchtermuchty. Yeah, Auchtermuchty. I love saying that word. It just brings a smile to my face. And it means, in Gaelic, it means field of the wild boar. That's what it means in Gaelic. And it's a great place to live. Great name to share with people as well. Oh, fabulous.
So
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
sorry. So locally, you do the heart therapy locally.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we're doing online sessions with the harp therapy just now, because obviously can't get out and I can't be in schools or anything like that. So I'm doing online sessions, and you can have a look on the website, and because I think I've put that in the bio as well, so you could have a look on the harp therapy website. But the other thing that I really want to share about the voice and bringing this, the unseen to the seen, is that I also work with another technology, which is voice analysis. And so what it does is it translates the frequencies of your voice, and we can actually map out what's going on for you internally, you know, and we can, and it's such an incredible piece of technology. I mean, it really helped me to look at where I needed to work on myself physically, and you know, suggestions on how we can actually really start to balance our energy, and you know, and it brings out what isn't functioning really. So that's all on my website as well if you were interested in having a, you know, known a bit more about the voice analysis. That's technology's been around for a while as well, but it's just, for me, I recently connected with it and I found it incredibly useful. So I did the training in it and bring that out to other people as well. And it particularly working with sound to bring balance to our energy, and that's my particular focus. But of course, we can use color and vitamins and herbs and all different manner of things just to balance our frequencies and our energetics, physically and emotionally as well. So yeah, that's an exciting piece of tech. I do like my technology.
And I feel we're only on the start of the journey really with sound. I
Yeah,
feel, you know, there's so much potential with sound,
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
not just in healing, but yeah, but in healing itself. Like, it has so much scope that it feels like we're this far in, and
Yeah,
it's like there's so much more to learn.
yeah,
We're just at
absolutely.
the very start of it, like at the very basics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the same voice analysis, but a dear friend Robin Cabral as well. This is and Kelly Jean McGrain as well, who's watching. I think this is something that she's getting into as well. And I'm not sure if it's the same. I know it's an app that they're using. So I don't know if it's the same, but if you speak your voice into it, and then, you know, it'll give you like a picture of your aura.
Yeah,
Also,
no, it's not this. It's not the same. This is a voice bio system, and so it's actually I need to be. We speak into a microphone, and it's there are certain questions asked, and so then it will pick up the certain frequencies with those three questions, and then it analyzes into a chart. Do I have a chart handy? No, I don't have one handy. It analyzes into a chart of all the 12 keynote frequencies, and you can see if any of those frequencies, you know, the musical notes are missing in your chart, and we can work to balance. So we can bring it, you know, we can either if they're missing, we can use those frequencies to bring a bit of balance into you. So we can use that through sound, the voice, but they're also connected to specific vitamins, herbs, colours, diet, nutrition. You know, there's a lot goes into that, and so you're actually you know, it's a map of your health. Really, it's a map of your energetic health frequency, but also your physical health. It was developed by a lady. She's a naturopath, and she developed this system quite a few years ago. And I think it's incredible because it really helped me. Because I mean, I know, because I used it for myself. I had my own voice print done, and then started working with the sounds and working with making nutritional changes that I needed to do to bring balance to my body. And yeah, and it was fantastic. So I thought, I want to do that. I want to bring that and share that with others. But it's different from the one that you're speaking about. It's a different system.
and is that something that you have to be in person, or you can do that?
Yeah, we have to do it in person because it just will not translate over, because the frequencies are all different when we're doing this online. So it has to be in person, you know, that I see people for sure. I did try it because I was hoping that we could perhaps do it. And I've done multiple tests just with different people in person, online, and it's completely off. The readings are completely off if you're doing this online. You need to be in person to get a true picture of that. Yeah. So.
And do you ever put on like group? The reason I'm asking this, I just got a flash of you singing with your heart to a big room.
No. You know how nervous I was coming on here. No, I don't really. I'm beginning to gain my voice and my confidence again. So So that might come. It might, that I start sharing that. What came for me earlier on today as I was preparing for this was about the transmissions. I need to transmit. I'm having to transmit these energies through the harp, through the connection with the plant kingdom, and just share that. So perhaps that's the way, and what you're picking up on, because that was so strong for me as I was preparing for our call today. It was so strong. You've got to transmit.
And effectively, that's what this is as well. This is a room full of people. Like it's a virtual room full of people, but it is that same thing. And it's interesting that the situation worldwide that we're in has kind of like pushed you to do more online stuff as people, because then we can connect, not just with people who are local, but with the whole whole
absolutely. And yesterday when I was out for my nature walk yesterday, it was really quite interesting because I felt really rooted to the spot, and I wasn't able to move, so I was being given a message, and I had to go and take photographs of everything that was around me. And what they said, what my download was that I need to collate that, and I need to create a transmission of that energetic.
Oh wow.
So I've got to create a video with these photographs, with this music, with the plant kingdom, and I've got to do a transmission video wise. So that came really strong. So that was yesterday. It started coming in today. So it looks like that I've got a few projects on to be created there. But I think that's, and also just, in doing things like this, interviews and stuff like that, just opening up, sharing my voice, it's opening. The throat is opening more now.
And it was beautiful as well. What you shared before was really beautiful.
Thank you. And that was going with the resonance of the plant. So when I'm in complete resonance, I don't need to think, there's no thought. It is just heart resonance. And that's what the plant kingdom's helping. If we can all just be in heart resonance with nature, I mean, oh my God, our lives are just, it's like I'm so excited about this connection I have to nature, because I'm rooted on the earth, but I'm experiencing life, and I'm experiencing this new vibration and frequency within me, and it's bringing, I just feel so happy about it, and it's bringing a lot of joy, and I just I wish, obviously Lily's not not gonna, she's been singing all day, but at the point where I've turned the volume up, it's not happening. But I think what will happen is, I think for me, to be able to record this, to be able to get these transmissions out there, and then we'll really feel it, so that you can be sat there listening with headphones, so you're actually really feeling those vibrations, and so if I can do things like that, that would be incredible. And
nature has been very patiently waiting to connect with us as well. It's like they're going, finally,
at last.
There's so many videos of people, animals coming in close, and we can communicate with them, like we're all starting to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for those that aren't, if you're walking in the woods and you feel like you get a message, then take heed and give thanks to the trees or to the birds, whatever it is that's kind of communicating there, because they're going, hello.
Absolutely, they really are. I mean, it was also interesting the other day, and I didn't have my phone. I wanted technology free for the walk that day, and in the field where I saw the hare a few days ago, deer was running past. So it was just and I thought of you as soon as I saw the deer. I thought, oh, hello, Denise. I really thought of you.
Now, someone's asked the question, what's the name of your system that you use?
So it's Music of the Plants, and if you have a look on, I think it is musicoftheplants.com.
I think it might have been the sound technology actually she was referring to. But finish that, and then if you come to the name of the sound technology that you use as well.
Sound technology?
The voice analysis technology.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's Voice Bio, and It's not actually under that anymore. I think it's Voice Analysis Harmony, because I think she sold the rights to somebody else. But it's actually, it was the originally Voice Biotechnology. Fantastic technology.
And yeah, just go back to the music of the plants as well.
Yeah, so the music of the plants, that is, I think the music of the plants technology you can get from their website, musicoftheplants. It's either .com or .co.uk. And they have different systems there. The one that is similar to mine, obviously mine is a prototype, but I think it's U1 is the similar box to mine. And I can't believe I didn't turn up my the speaker so you could hear Lily. I'm never going to live that down now. You know, you're doing a talk on the music of the plants and you forget to turn up the volume.
People would have felt the energy anyway.
Yeah. Well, actually, that was the resonance. So the tone that came through, the tones that were coming through was actually the resonance of Lily. So we were working in harmony together. You know, it was just obviously I was being the voice. Oh, dear.
Would you like to do some more?
Yeah, shall we? Okay, so right, let's see. Let's all focus on this beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous Lily.
And thank you, Lily, for singing with your full heart.
Absolutely. And if we can just kind of just tune in to this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful plant, and hopefully she might start singing with us as we're doing it. I've turned up the volume, so hopefully she might join in. That would be good. Okay. Yashtu anariana tuarana lashta. Yantu eraina elanorashta ara.
Elhian eret un. Kitaro un erab an. Kalasht ere et un. Kunad od ai. Kule ina. Keast at an urut oya. Kulana ne head oy erat ona. Kenemi eran iat un. Kulaya tana asta. Wow, thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you for all that you do and all that you bring, and just your beautiful big heart and your amazing presence, and you're yeah, amazing. Thank you.
And I want to hold up a mirror to you and say, absolutely, thank you for all you're doing as well, and for stepping up and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone as well, because I know what that's like, and
Yeah,
it inspires other people to do the same as
yeah,
well. So thank you for the
fantastic.
beautiful energy that you put out into the world.
Thank you. And hopefully, once I've got these transmissions, hopefully maybe you can share it with people that are listening as well on your page, so that you're getting the full transmission. But I really want to thank the inspiration, Plant Kingdom, Mother Gaia, to us all here. I really appreciate everybody that's connecting and connected, and you, Denise, for hosting this and for putting it all together and reaching out.
My absolute pleasure. It's been a real honor and a privilege to do this with you today, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't do it again sometime.
Oh yeah, fantastic! Yay!
And thank you, Lily.
Yes, thank you, Lily, and thank you to the aloe vera as well, and to your beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous plant. Oh,
The color, I just love the color of it.
look, yeah, absolutely
It's
beautiful.
incredible. And she's not
Yeah.
really done very well. Like she's been, yeah, it's only recently that suddenly she's gone, woo. And I get really mesmerized. She's normally on my windowsill. And I get really mesmerized by the color, the purple, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
wow,
gorgeous.
so beautiful.
Okay, so wow, it's been incredible. Thank you, and thanks to everybody for joining us. And if you've got anybody's got any questions as well, just reach out. I'm online, and just reach out.
Wonderful.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And thank you to everybody watching live and on the replay. And yeah, there is a Love Speaks Love page. I always get mixed up with pages and groups. It's a Love Speaks Love page where all the chats are, and this will be on Inner Peace with Denise. You've got a YouTube as well.
Yeah, it's just under my name, Isobel Stamford. Yeah, I've got some tracks there, Music of the Flowers. So there are some actual tracks, so you can go listen to them there. And I will put videos up on there and transmissions and things once I create them.
Yeah, let me know when you do these ones that you've been talking about.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Okay, I will do.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank
I
you.
will stop the live. Love, love, love. See you soon.
Bye.